Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to lesson 15 of the MyListing course, Recreating the Canvas Starter Site. Today, we're going to look at listing taxonomies and listing fields, specifically as they pertain to the expert listing type, which is a unique listing type on this particular starter site. It's unique compared to a lot of MyListing websites that I've seen out there with some of the elements that it has. Plus, once we learn how to configure that listing type, then configuring all of the others is essentially the same. Okay. Quick lesson recap before we dive in, and then I'm going to let you know what I've done since that last lesson video. So to quickly recap, we worked on the homepage, recreating the elements and the design, whether it's the headings, listing type CTAs, search. In this case, it was the basic search form. Looked at the preview cards. We looked at Google reviews as they related to the actual website itself. So looking at embed social for that. As far as the happenings since the previous lessons, I actually deleted the entire homepage that we worked on in that lesson. I then imported the homepage template from the Canvas website. And the reason I did that was because if you saw that previous lesson, it's not very smooth as far as what Elementor allows you just to copy and paste elements over from one site to the other. When you import the actual template, it's actually a better experience. So that's really important to highlight here. For some of you that may have seen the video and been discouraged, like, oh, this isn't how I would expect this experience to be. So if you actually import a template from the club or somewhere else, it's going to be a better experience in a lot of cases than copying elements over, because there's just something that's a little wonky with that, as we saw in the video. Okay, so I imported the template like I said, and then I took the time to design it all up, and we'll quickly take a peek here at that. I designed it all up quickly to match the actual Canvas site and how it looks. Okay. All right. So I think that was it. Let me see if I had anything else to mention there. Yeah, style up the homepage. All right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes again. Listing taxonomies and listing fields. Okay. So to do this, we need to also want to bring up our project template here for this, just to show where we are at. So here's our project template, and currently we're focusing on this in progress column, which today we're going to complete the taxonomies worksheet and the fields worksheet tasks, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so we're getting there, progressing nicely. Typically in the order I recommend doing these worksheets, I recommend getting your clients, or if you're building a website for yourself, getting that taxonomy worksheet going right away. That typically takes the most thought, really, to plan out your taxonomy strategy. And then we move on to listing packages. But we've already taken care of the listing packages worksheet in another lesson. And the reason I did that first was because we were tackling all things related to pricing, listing packages, listing subscriptions, and all of that. So we're done with that particular worksheet. And like I said, we're focusing on taxonomy and fields. So I'm going to go ahead and close down the listing types worksheet because we will get to that later. Okay, looking at the taxonomy worksheet, we're going to focus only on the expert listing type. All right, so let's click into the expert demo tab here. We already have our taxonomies laid out here for us, because this is how I built the actual expert listing type listing, the taxonomies for the expert listing type, over on Canvas. So this is already ready for us to go. I just want to show how to pull some of this data in and how I go about it. One of the reasons I love working with the worksheets is because you can sit in here and map everything out before you even need to go into your MyListing website. I lay it all out for you. I give you instructions. If you hover over these information icons here, I give you the instructions how to set all of this up. Then you can go into your WordPress dashboard, into your MyListing configuration, for the listing type and your taxonomies and all of that stuff, and then start just punching this data in rather than just jumping over into your WordPress dashboard like I am here and just poking around, let's say categories, for example. You just start poking around and you kind of get lost and you don't know what your progress has been. Things like that. If you use Airtable or the Google Sheets option, then you can do the mass fill. You see here, there's the drop down options. It's just a really awesome way to build this stuff out before you get lost in all of the screens within the WordPress dashboard. Okay, so let's just work top to bottom here. That's how we should be working. The very first line here is pretty self-explanatory. We are working with the expert listing type. So our taxonomy in this case is going to be listing type, right? And we already created a bare bones listing type for the expert here, okay? And that was from another lesson. So it's super, super bare bones. Okay, so we've got that in place. The icon that we are using for that listing type is the graduate icon, and we don't need to have a description for this. So we go into the expert listing type, and we see here's that graduate icon. Other than that, like I said, we've got some of these very basic things that are created, and as part of those previous lessons, we mentioned some stuff with some packages. I'm actually going to remove these here because I'm going to explain this in a bit. We did a few fields already that we needed to do for a previous lesson. Okay, so that's really all we've done. Just some stuff for a previous lesson, but there's a ways to go. All right, back to the taxonomies. So the first one here is a category, architectural and engineering. So far, we have the business and financial category added. So let's go over to our categories. This was part of another lesson. So that's already in place. Let's just look at that real quick. So business and financial, it's a category. We're going to use the chart icon for that. So if we go into that category, we see here is that chart icon. We have a taxonomy description, which goes right here in this box for SEO purposes, or it's also for educating people to learn more about what it is when they're on the Explore page, for example. And then because we are working with the expert listing type, that's one of the listing types we need to specify down here in our listing types. So where are we making that category available to folks to choose from? So expert. And we're also going to we need to allow all of these for our global. Every taxonomy we create, we want to add that as part of our global listing type so people can search across all listing types for those taxonomies. Okay, so that's a quick recap there. Let's go ahead and create a new one together. And I think what I wanted to do here was let's see here, because I've got some images already downloaded to save us some time. We're going to do arts and design here. Okay, so arts and design, that's a category. Jump over here, paste in the name. We've got a paintbrush for an icon, and then we've got a bit of taxonomy description. So here's our description. We're using the paintbrush for the icon. Okay, and our listing type here is expert. And remember, we wanted to add global for all of these. So I'm going to specify both of those, and that's it. Cool. Now, if you had a child category, for example, then you would add that in here, and then so let's say a test, and then you would choose your parent category. So if you had a child category of arts and design, just make sure you get that parent category selected. Otherwise, everything is the same. Okay, so we handled the listing type, taxonomy, a couple of categories. Regions are already in place from our previous lesson. So those are good to go. I'll just quickly show you those. So right under categories, we have regions, and we set up these three right here. So United States is our top level, and then our parent is California, and then our child region is San Diego. Okay, moving on down, let's do a couple of tags here. Let's do accepts credit cards. So now we want to drop down into the tags area, drop in our name. We don't need a description here because this is self-explanatory. So we're just moving left to right. We've got our name, our taxonomy type, and our icon is going to be a credit card. Notice I'm choosing the default icon font and then choosing the icon. You can upload a custom font image if you want. All right, so I'm going to do that. And again, this is going to be available to, I think this one's going to be available to everyone. Let's go here. Let me go, I'm going over to Canvas to see if that is the case. And obviously, if you want to find that out, you can just go through all of these tabs as well and find out which of these has it. But this will just be a faster way to do this. Accepts credit cards. Yeah, we're doing this for all listing types. So when you do that, you don't need to select a listing type down here. It's just going to happen by default. It's going to be available to all listing types. All right, so we're just going to click Add New Tag. That one's ready to go. I did do an image, so I apologize. Let's see here. Go back to our tag, accepts credit cards, icon, description. There should be an option for an image in here. I need to add that. I thought I added that. I did. I added it over here for the actual template. So when you are working with the worksheets and you want to create your own taxonomy from scratch, your own taxonomy structure from scratch, you would just duplicate this tab so you always have it as a template. And as you see here, I do have that image field ready to go. If you hover over that, it says selecting an image is not required. This is different than the upload image setting, which allows you to upload a custom icon image. Instead, this is a bigger image that can be displayed to further illustrate the taxonomy it's associated with, which is typically shown on the Explore pages. So going back to the tag, let's go into accepts credit cards. And again, it's not this upload image option because that's for the icon. We'll go down here to this image option. Think of this as, the easiest way to think of this is just a background image. Think of it that way, if it helps you visualize. Okay, so we click Add Image. And let's see if I already have this in here already. There we go. So that's our image for credit cards. Boom. Update. Let's go look on the front end so we can start to see this take shape. So I'm going to go to Explore and then Experts. And we don't have the, we haven't built out our listing type yet, so we can't see those. There would be, I can quickly add it here. It's not a problem. We'll just take care of that now. Let's go to our listing type. We're going to go to search forms and we're going to go to the advanced form. And then we're going to go to the Explore tabs. We're just going to add this tags option here. All right. Let me see. Checking on Canvas just to make sure what I did over there to be sure I capture this. Again, we're going to do all of this later when we tackle the actual listing type portion. Yeah, I didn't add tags here. Okay. That makes sense. I did those in the actual, oh, did I do that anywhere? No, I did not. Yeah, I called those features actually. Hold on one second here. Yeah, I called those features over on Canvas, so I'm getting kind of confused here. Let me do a search. All right, yeah, I called features tags features. But we're going to get into all this fields and everything. I'll go ahead and add the tags for now and drop them into the expert listing type just while we're thinking about it. So I did this under services right here, and I called these features. All right, and I'm going to put in a description. And I'm going to set this as term checklist. We're going to have to do this with the listing fields anyway in the next portion of this lesson. So we're just going to jump ahead here. We will go ahead and leave all of that as is. Now over on the search forms, this makes more sense because my terminology wasn't the same. It's confusing me. Okay, so we do have checkboxes. We're going to add to the advanced form. We're going to drag that to the top. We're going to call this features. We're going to use our tags field, which we called features. So that's this one. We're going to go ahead and set this to sort by order by name. And then we're going to do it in ascending order. And I'm going to clear out the count because we don't want to limit the number, the count number. You can do that if you want. I'm just choosing not to limit how many options we're showing. We're not going to hide empty items. You would want to do this in a real world scenario though. You want to hide your empty items. You don't want people choosing items that are going to produce zero results for listings when they're searching and filtering. I'm just doing this for the Canvas site, so all of the options can be displayed. And we want to go ahead and keep everything else the same. And then that's good. So that's all we're going to do there. Now on this Explore page, we will see the options for tags and features. Let me see here. Sorry, I meant to take that out. All right, so now we just need a listing that has some tags in them. All right, so we're going to edit. That should have shown though. That should have shown because we have a tag, right? And we're just saying, let's not make it empty. So let's troubleshoot this. We should see, oh, there it is right here. I didn't see that was in there. But that should show features, checkbox, oh, you know what? I did. Oh yeah, there we go. So I had it backwards. We're not hiding the empty items on the starter site because I want to show all of the options there. In a real world scenario, you would want to check that box. All right, so now let's refresh this. All right, there we go. So now we have our accepts credit cards in there. Okay, so when you select that, you don't actually get to see the image that we added. I'll show you that with categories here. So if you click categories, this is that image here, right? You click into that, you see this image. That's why I call it a background image because it's kind of on these taxonomy cards, and then you see it again in here. So the same thing with tags. It's going to work exactly the same. So this image we chose here, that's going to be there. So if you look on Canvas, for example, there are some listing types to where I do show the tags as an option. So let me pull that up. At least I think there might be. Let me see if I can find one. Yeah. Okay, so this is not that one. This is the events listing type. So I chose to show the tags, features over here. So here's the accepts credit cards. Cool. Alrighty, moving on. Where were we? We are in the listing taxonomy. We are in the expert demo column. We did accepts credit cards. We will do one more. Let's do free estimates. Okay, so we're going to add another tag called free estimates. We're not going to have a description for the icon. We are going to use chat. It's like this little chat bubble. I think that's what I used. Let's go back here. Yeah, chat. And for the image, I already have one downloaded. Let's go ahead and click add image and choose that. So there's our free estimates image. And I think we want this to apply to all listing types. Let me quickly check. Free estimates. Nope, we are allowing this for our expert listing type, business listing type, which we're not going to have yet, and global. So these are the two we want to focus on right now, and add new tag. All right, so that's good. If we refresh this front end, we should now see two options. There we go. So that looks good. All right, let's move on down. Next up is our we're going to do a custom taxonomy. Our custom taxonomy root, that's what I like to call it when it's the top level, is services. And I put CT in front of my custom taxonomy names just so I can keep them consistent in here and how they're listed in the back end of WordPress. So we're going to go listings, taxonomies, add taxonomy, click into the taxonomy to edit it. We're going to drop in that name CT Services, which stands for Custom Taxonomy and then Services. Save changes. We're now going to go into CT Services. So now when you add all of your custom taxonomies in here, they're going to be listed, grouped together. Otherwise, if you just start naming them, just random names, they're going to appear all over the place in here, and they're not going to be. You can't order them or anything like that. So that's why I do that. Keep the name short, simple. So these already populated because these are already in the database because I was messing with this earlier, and so these are already in there. So there's some things we need to make sure that everything is good to go, but let's check that out. So we have our top level. You know what? Let's do this. Let's just clear it out. We will start over. Let's just start over. Okay, so we come in here, we have no custom taxonomies. All right, so that's the root, the parent. Our first custom taxonomy, we will do. Let's do this. Let's do business and financial because that's what I had in there before. Okay, similar to the tags, the categories, etc. It's the same process. So business and financial is our custom taxonomy. We're using the icon as the calculator. There we go. And you would want to do a description here just to educate, most likely to educate people and for your SEO. I didn't do that for the starter site just because I don't know if people are going to end up using these custom taxonomies and they're probably going to put their own stuff in there. So I didn't do that for every single thing. And yeah, and then the image. Like I said, the image is going to be there when you go to use, if you go to use this worksheet and template, it's going to have that. It's going to tell you to put an image in there or ask you if you want to put one in there. Okay, so let's click image. Let's find this business and upload business and financial. Is that already in here? There it is. It's already in there. Let's select it. And we want this to be for the following listing types: expert, business, and global. Okay, so down in the listing types, we're going to do expert, global, and add new item. Okay, so that's our top level, going back to our taxonomy breakdown for the expert listing type. That is our custom taxonomy right here. All right, now these are what I call child custom taxonomies. All right, so same thing, jump back in here, punch in the name. The important piece is to check the parent item is now business and financial. For the icon, I'm using calculator for all of these. You can use different icons, obviously. Same listing types, expert and global, add new item. But now we see that it's nested underneath there. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do taxes. Put that same icon in there. Same listing types. I forgot the background image on the other one, so we'll go back and do that. Add image. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to use the same image. I'm going to go back into that bookkeeping, and we're going to put that image on that one. There we go. Okay, so now let's look at this on the front end. Refresh. Go to our categories. There we go. And click into that, and you can see that category. But again, remember we have a this is a custom taxonomy. So we need to add that search filter option to our listing type. So we go into our listing type, we go to search forms, and then we're going to add this to the Explore tab. And we do not have this in here yet. So I need to add the field. So when you create a custom taxonomy, let me actually refresh this. Update. Go back to fields. Now that we've created that custom taxonomy, we see here under our preset fields, down towards the bottom, it's going to give you that custom taxonomy field. So we're going to drop that in. And let's see here. Let me see where I placed it on Canvas. All right, so I dropped this one right above the services form heading. I just called it services, so I cleared out that CT. There we go. The CT is just for our part in the back end as admins to understand what's going on. Don't need that on the front end. All right, so I'm going to drop in a description to help educate people. We're going to do a term multi-select, which is the default option. That's fine. And yeah, everything else looks good. So we're going to update. Let's go into our search forms again and explore tabs. And let's click on that. Let's add that CT services over there. And we are going to move that to the middle. And we're going to change the name here too. We don't want that CT being on there. All right, and we're going to order by name and order by ascending. And we're not going to hide empty items for the starter site because the site is just a demo. I'm demoing everything. When it's a real world site, you're going to want to hide the empty items. All right. Okay, so that's in place. Let's refresh. We should see a new tab open up here, and here we go. This is our new tab, services. There we go. And clicking into there, we see the hierarchy. Oh, that all looks good. Cool. All right, so that is done, and we are done with the listing taxonomies. We could go through all of these, but we don't need to. You know how to do that by now after watching this lesson, after seeing some of my other videos, or just maybe you already know, but that is that. Okay, now for the big daddy of this particular lesson is the fields. Again, we're working from the expert listing type, and this is all built out according to how I built this for Canvas. There is a fields tab in the worksheet, and this has everything you need to start with a blank slate and start building out your fields for your listing types. Everything, there's instructions for every single field in here, walks you through exactly what to do. Cool stuff. I use it myself. I wouldn't try to sell this and push and recommend this to people if I didn't use it myself. It's just saved a lot of time and headache working on these MyListing websites. Okay, back to the expert listing type. Some of these are already going to be done for us just from this lesson and the previous lesson we've worked on. But let's break this down. The form heading, you can add custom form headings to the listing types to break up your submit form, your add listing form. So the first one here at the top of the form, we want to use a form heading called profile. All right, so let's go back here to our listing type. Let's close some of these windows. Go into fields. All right, we see here we don't have a top form heading called profile. So we need to drop down here into the preset fields and add form heading. You only get one under the preset fields, but then you can later go under custom fields and you can add as many form headings as you want. Okay, we're going to drag this all the way to the top. And remember, we call this profile. We move left to right here. The icon we're going to use is a user icon. It's going left to right here. You want to make sure you set everything. And I tell you which of these columns relates to which field, so it makes it easy. All right, this is not required. It's on the submit form. We want this as part of the listing comparison. All right, so our icon is a user. There we go. Everything else looks good. All right, next down we have title. We already took care of that in another video. Tagline we took care of. Bio is good, which is the description field. Category is in there as industry. Location is not in there. Okay, so we're going to add the location field after the category field. I wish that MyListing would allow you to drag these in, but you can't. So we just got to click on it and then drag it to our desired location. So I put that under category. That's cool. Okay, so this one is a loaded field. Moving left to right, our field label, we're going to call it address. Our placeholder is going to be start typing address to help guide people as to what to do with that field. We've got our description to help educate people. Again, moving left to right. We see the next one is max locations of 3 and what map skin do we want to use. The skin included with the starter site. So max locations allowed is 3, which is the default. Map skin, we're going to choose canvas. So I use Mapbox for all of my listing websites and my clients. That's what I recommend they use. And then you can easily build custom map skins to match your branding or whatever the functionality is that you need. We're going to show it on the submit form. This is not a required field. We do not want to show this in the listing comparison. So we're going to uncheck that. Okay, just moving over. Left to right, as I'll keep saying. All right. One thing in here to note is the default. You'll see here the default map location. So I do have this as part of this, but if the defaults aren't changed, I just leave that as is. But as you work through this worksheet, you're going to look at each of these fields and decide what's for you, right? So if you were to look in here in the instructions, I give you guidance on how to set this. Okay. By default, it is set to London. I could probably write that in here, but I give you an example. If you wanted to use the United States, I give you the exact latitude and longitude to put in there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take the latitude and drop that in. So that's this first box. I could probably educate people on that too. So I will do that. All right. And then, so we copied the longitude that goes in this box. Okay. So this is going to default. So whenever anyone looks at a map, any MyListing related map, explore page, whatever, they're adding their listing or whatever, they're going to see it's going to default to the center of the United States. That's what this does. Okay. So you adjust this to your liking for your particular website and do the same for the map zoom. So I'm using a map zoom of 8 for this particular site. That is also a field here. So we have that with instructions. Enter a value between 0 and 22. If no value is specified, the default is 12. Yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. Okay, so that should do it. It's not required. We don't want to show this in the comparison pop-up. And that is good to go. Region is done from another lesson we did. Let's do products next. So products is the products field, and this one comes from using WooCommerce product vendors in this particular case with this starter site, which is the case with all the starter sites. I set it up, show you how to use it, that sort of thing. So we're just going to use the products field, no label. I'm going to grab the description here, go back. All right, so we see the products. Where is the products field? Products. Right in front of my face. Did I use it already somewhere? What the heck? Sorry, brain farting this. There we go. It's right in front of my face. I just couldn't see it. All right, we're going to drop that in and we're going to place it after region. Drop it in, pull it up under region. We're going to call it products. I'm going to put a description in there. Let's keep moving left or right. What this allows you to do with WooCommerce product vendors is add products to the actual listings. You can also add them to your shop as well. So you can take a cut, but in this particular a cut of the sales. In this particular case, we're adding products to the listing. We're creating a multi-vendor marketplace within the actual listings. All right, this is not required. We want this to be in the submit form. And now we get into package visibility. So this is going to be an interesting topic that some people struggle with. Once you start getting the hang of it, though, it becomes pretty simple. All right, so I know off the top of my head, it's in the worksheet. We're only going to allow simple products for this use case. You can do whatever you want here. I'm just going with the simple product. So this is like, hey, I'm going to sell a t-shirt, that type of thing. We're not doing subscriptions. I'm not doing a variable product where like you start getting into the different, or like I'm selling a candle. It's just like one style, whatever. We're not getting into variable subscriptions where it's like t-shirts where the size changes and colors and all that type of thing. We're just keeping it simple, as the name says. Simple product. You guys can do whatever you want. This isn't a required field. We're not going to show products in the listing comparison pop up because that would just be absolutely insane to do that. So that is that. Now, again, what I brought up, this is the first field where we're going to talk about package visibility. You toggle that on, and somewhere in here, you want to set one of them to be no package. This is just for admin purposes. Just drop that in wherever. We're going to add a new role, and we're going to say is equal to, which is really the only rule there is. We're going to say we need to specify our package, but this is the important part I wanted to bring up. You see how you don't have the option to choose your other packages? Okay, so let's talk about that. Over here, under the general area and packages, when we talked about adding listing packages, and I mentioned over here that just by enabling paid listing packages here, all of these packages will be available for all of your listing types by default. There's nothing else you need to do. So if package visibility is never a thing that you need to mess with, then there's a chance you don't have to do anything here. But because we want to do package visibility, we need to assign all of our packages here. Okay. I'm not saying in every case you have to add them all. It's just in every website I've ever been a part of, we just add them all because we want them to be part of the package visibility for all listing types. Okay, so we're going to just move all of those over and say update. Let's go back to our field. Let's go back to that location field, products field. And now under our packages, package visibility, we can select the package we want. Now we want to say in this case, according to our worksheet that we're referencing, we want to say that they have to purchase, the listing owner that is, has to purchase our top package, package 4, either monthly or annual, to be able to add the multi-vendor marketplace to their listing and sell products within their listing. Okay. All right. That is it for that field. Let's move on down. All right. Next up is work hours, and same thing. Drop it in. We're putting that after products. And I'm going to fly through some of this, guys, just because it's a lot of repetitive stuff. So if I don't mention something specifically, then it's not really super, super important. But you can just watch what I'm doing here. Some things are just self-explanatory. All right, we are good to go for that one. Next up, we have text custom field. So this one is worth talking about. So for this one, we need to go down. You notice how it says custom field in brackets? That means we need to go down to the custom field section here. All right. And we are adding a text custom field. So we want to choose text. We're going to drop that below work hours, which I called office hours for this particular starter site. And this is going to be, this custom text field is going to be to add our Google reviews information. So we're going to call this Google reviews. Again, if I fall silent, I'll say this just one more time. If I fall silent, that means I'm working through this, and I'll mention anything important that comes up. But I do want to summarize what this is about here in a second. This is another one where we don't want to show in the listing comparison pop-up. It's not required. We do want package visibility. We want that to be our top package again. Okay, that is it. I know off the top of my head. So again, what this is they're going to be able to add a text string that's based off their embed social account for embedding their Google reviews. They're just, with this field, they just add that text string, and then later on in another lesson, we're going to show how it's going to just take that code and then dynamically output their reviews. Really, really slick stuff. Let me go ahead and save my changes just in case something happens. Next up, we've got related listing, and that's going to round off the profile section of our form. Okay, so related listing, drop that below Google reviews. I'm going to call this related listings because we're relating multiple listings, not just one. Okay, related to, we are going to choose all listings. We're going to say has many here for the relation type. So this listing could have many relations, could be related to many listings is what we're saying here. We're only going to allow the author of the listing to choose what their listing relates to. Okay. This is not a required field. We do not need to show this in the listing comparison pop-up. That is that. Okay, so we're going to move on down. We're going to break up our form a little bit. So our next form heading is going to be qualifications. Okay, so that comes after profile. So we're going to drop down here. We're going to add that new form heading. We're going to drop that up here. Qualifications. Graduate icon. That will do it. Okay, so we've got that form heading, and I'll just move down through here. Notice with these custom fields, they're WP editor instead of text. All right, so the first one is going to be work experience. Okay, so custom field, WP editor. Drop that into the qualifications section, change the label. Moving left to right, we're going to get some unique stuff here. We just went with the defaults, I guess. Somewhere in here, there's editor controls. Let me do a search for editor. There we go. Editor controls. If listing owners can use the WordPress editor, which is what this field is, which level of functionality should they get? By default, the WP editor has basic controls enabled. So because we're going with the default option, they're getting the basic controls as we see right here. So that's the default basic controls. All right. Up to you what you want to do here. I like to do this because if you start getting into more advanced stuff, it really allows people to inject a lot of bad things into their listings. It's just, it's very risky. It's just very risky. The other thing I like to do, which is done on these starter sites, is to hide the link fields. So when you have the basic controls, even then you can add links. So I use CSS to hide that. Okay, let's see if I can show that real quick. And let's make sure we've got this finished real quick. It's not required. Yeah, all that looks good. So that's our qualifications and our work experience is set up. Let's go and edit this listing on the front end. Where are we at? Here we go. This is not finished yet. Do not judge yet. We are not even to the point where we're styling this stuff yet. We will get there. But I wanted to show you what I mean. You see how you have the option to include links? You know, that is super dangerous. So let's see where I adjust that. So I'm going over into WP Codebox on Canvas. That should have been taken care of as part of the add listing flow. So a little side tangent here, a little education. There should have been something in here about yeah, I thought for sure I took out the ability. Maybe I ended up not doing that just so people could make the decision on their own. But I thought I took out the ability to use the links. So let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I guess I didn't. I must have decided not to do that. Yeah, just so people could see it. But what I would recommend considering is to hide these links, and you can do that with custom code. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on. Don't want to get too far into the weeds anymore on that. All right, next up is another custom text field. I'm just gonna start flying through these. Good. I'll save my changes. All right, so then our next section of our form that we're creating, we're calling service details with an icon of a handshake. What did I call that? Service details, tags and price range. Just ignore what I just did there. Pretend I didn't do that. It'll just be automatic for you because this was already in there as part of another lesson. So I just misnamed it in that previous lesson. So there you go. Service details. That's good to go. So let's move to the next one. Custom taxonomy services. We did that one already. Tags we took care of. Yep. Price range we took care of. Okay, moving on down. Contact is our next form heading. And that's going to go right after services. Yeah. Contact, and we used contact icon. That's the one I went with. And I believe we are not showing this in the comparison because it's not vital information that people, when you're comparing listings side by side, vital information is not displaying their email address. Like that's not going to make you choose one or the other. Yep. See how it's disabled there? The other thing we do is we get into package visibility for all of these as well. So what you're doing is you're upselling the ability to display direct contact information, because once you allow that contact information to be published, they're going to no longer need your site for certain things. They're just going to be able to directly contact that listing owner, and there should be a privilege for allowing that contact information to be out there. All right. So for those, and we need to do it for the heading too. It's important to do it for the heading. You have to do package visibility all throughout that section of your form, that particular section. Otherwise, if you don't do package visibility for the heading too, then they're going to get lost. Like they're going to be, oh, what the heck is this? What is this group of fields all about? So you want to be able to group them all together. Okay. So for that, we want to do package visibility, no package, and then now set up all of our package visibility. For all of these, I believe we are using the same. Yeah, so they must purchase, basically they need to purchase something, which is package 2 and above. So package 1 is free, so they need to purchase package 2 or above, and we need to set all of those in here. So package 2 annual, package 3 annual, and package 4. All right, so that's set up, and that's what we're going to do for everything in this particular section of our form, which has to do with contacts. All right. I'm going to start adding these, and again, I'll mention if there's something special to mention, I will mention something. All right. Yes, and right off the bat, we have something special to talk about. Okay, so when I build my listing websites, I do not use Contact Form 7. Because of that, I use Elementor Pro, and because of that, this field is optional now. The only reason the listing owner needs to want to fill this in is if they want the email to go to an address that's other than the one that they signed up for your website with. So if they sign up for your website with john@john.com, but they want emails for their listings to go to, like, say, an email distribution list, they could go in here and specify that in this field. Okay, that's the only reason they need this. Otherwise, it's all automated. And I've got a guide and a video on how to set that up. So again, Elementor Pro I use instead of Contact Form 7, and I wanted to explain that here for this field. So we don't make this required. We don't want to show this in the listing comparison pop-up. Up to you if you want to do a content lock. So they have to click on it to view the information, which helps protect against bots. So let's just move left to right here and see what we did. We have our package visibility. We turned off the comparison pop-up. All right, so that is that. Turn that off. I didn't do any content lock on there. And the reason I didn't do content lock on Canvas, because it's a demo website, right? I want people to be able to see what that email address would look like had it been exposed, because I do some stuff around that, some design, and make sure it looks good and functions and all that. If I just hide it behind a content lock, it doesn't look as good. All right, package visibility, like I said, for all of these need to be the same. So I'm just going to fly through these. One thing I wish MyListing would do is give you the option to just not have to set all these manually. Like you could say, like one of the rules could be if the package is X package and above, that type of thing. That'd be an awesome feature. Not the end of the world though. I mean, you see, it's pretty easy to punch the stuff in. Let's see, social networks is next. So by default, let's go through here. There's something special on this one, so I want to mention it. Yeah, because we went with the defaults. Let's do a search. There should be something in here about social. There isn't, so I will add that if it's not in there. I thought for sure it was in there, but you have the option to customize the field and choose which social networks that people can choose, the listing owners can choose. All right. Depending on your business, you might want to limit this to, specific social networks, just, to make it cleaner, make it easier on the listing owner. All right. We've got all kinds of options here. Like for example, if your audience, your listings, are not going to have anything to do with SoundCloud, like why show it? Show everything, show other things besides that. So choose the most important ones. You can always listen to your audience, and if they ask for another social network, then you can come in here and add that in. But by default, if nothing is chosen, then all of those are going to be an option. All right, this is going to be a special mention. We're going to do the website, and we're going to do a text custom field for this. Notice we're not using the website field, and I'm going to show you why. So text, custom text field, website. Let me fill in this basic information. Notice the placeholder. It shows domain.com. Notice it doesn't say www or HTTPS, HTTP, like any of that stuff. That is for a reason. We want to make it simple for people. Okay, let's look at this description. Enter your website without the HTTP : / or HTTPS : / portion, as we will add that for you automatically. Make it dead simple for these people. Otherwise, you're going to have people misspelling HTTP, missing an S, so then their link is no longer secure, missing the colon, missing one of the slashes. It just creates a mess, and broken links that you're going to have to fix as an administrator. All of these things, like, just make it dead simple for people. And this is how you should do that. Do not use the website field, in my opinion. More on this later on. Okay, we're not going to show this in the comparison pop-up. None of this stuff is required. We do need package visibility, so I'll fly through this. All right, social networks, and we've got our website. And next up, this is going to be also of special mention, another custom text field. This is going to be similar to kind of like what we did for the Google reviews, but this time it's going to be for booking. All right. All right. So our label is consultations. We are educating people with the placeholder that we're going to use. We're telling them the exact URL that they need to use, like the example URL that they need to use. We're giving them some instructions here in the form of the description area of the field. Let's go through this one real quick. Add the link to your consultation booking form. You can quickly grab this link from your cal.com. This is a free service, by the way. More on this later. Your cal.com account by clicking the copy link icon under events. So I tell you exactly, we're telling them exactly where to go, exactly what to copy, exactly how their link should look. Awesome stuff. All right. Not a required field. We're not showing this in the comparison pop-up. We want to do package visibility. think we did, like I said, same package visibility across the board for these. Yes, and we did. All right. Just wanted to make sure for that field we're good. I'll fly through this. All right, save our changes and let's continue on. We are almost there, folks. All right, media is the next form heading, and we have that in there. That is good to go. I believe. Let me make sure I didn't do anything else here. Maybe package visibility. Yes. So we need package visibility on all of the media section. Okay, same package visibility as we did for the contact. Media actually goes down here below. So we're just, with a simple drag and drop, we are able to reorder things. So let me see, the order these go in are cover image and then logo. Cover image and then logo. Okay, cool. Package visibility, let me drop that on this field here. Okay, and then cover image, which we are calling headshot listing preview for this particular listing type, which we covered in another lesson. That is already set up for our, okay, that is good, that is good, that all looks good. All right, what's next? Gallery images. Okay, of special note for our description. Upload up to 6 images to your gallery. The first 3 images uploaded will also serve as your cover image. Okay, and that is because in our listing preview card, we are doing the preview card as an image background, and that's going to create that slider in there. And we're defining the number of images under our performance tab. So theme tools, performance, other settings. Here we go. How many gallery slides to load? So that is where that value is coming from. So that's what we are explaining here in this field. Okay. Upload up to 6 images to your gallery. The first 3 images uploaded will also serve as your cover image. So then when they actually look at the listing as well on the front end, up here is going to be that slider, of those 3 images. That's going to build that cover. All right. There's more to this, though. Let's continue on. Will also serve as your cover image. If gallery images are not uploaded, we will apply a default cover image with our own branding. We will get to that later because we're going to build out the listing type the rest of the way in another lesson. Then I'm adding a bit of HTML, and I'm wrapping a class called helper links around the text. See image guidelines and tips. Okay. And then I'm also wrapping a link called image upload 101. All right. So let's look at that. When they go and they edit their listing, let me save changes here to make sure that's in there. Let's refresh. Here we go. So again, I wrapped some HTML around these words: see image guidelines and tips. All right, I wrapped some HTML around that to trigger when they click on that link a pop-up. All right. Also, it's just the styling, the underline, and the coloring, and all of that stuff. It's all done with CSS. So when they click that, like I said, they're going to get a pop-up in there. And we will tackle all of that later, but I wanted to point out that's where that's coming from here. Okay, so the other part of that, we mentioned up to 6 images in your gallery. So we then need to say maximum number of uploads allowed. We need to set that to 6. We already have a code snippet in place to set a maximum upload size. And that is a global setting so that you don't have to set that for each and every one of these fields individually. Okay, right here, globally limit image upload size. So that's, excuse me, that's how that is done. Excuse me. Okay. We do not want to ever show listing images in the listing comparison pop-up. So we want to toggle that off for sure. Let me drop the package visibility on here. Getting close, guys. We're getting close. But I really want to show all of this because not just to show, potential Canvas customers, potential Canvas customers, but education on how this stuff is done. A lot of people don't even know what package visibility is, didn't even know it was an option. So that's part of the goal here is education. Okay, this is another special mention. This time we're going to do a custom file upload field. I like to call this bonus gallery. Okay, custom field, and we're going to do file upload. This is one that people don't know about. A lot of people don't know about. Okay, bonus gallery, and let me fill in the information. The description is basically the same. We're just saying with this, you can upload, I believe it's up to 12 images. Yeah, you can upload up to 12 images to your bonus gallery, and then you can choose what file types are allowed. We have unique package visibility on that. So let me just tackle these in order. We don't need to specify a maximum upload image size because we do that globally already. We don't want to ever show any images in our listing comparison pop-up. Let's do our package visibility. This time we want to make them pay for one of our higher priced packages to unlock a bonus gallery. All right, so they have to purchase, in this case, package 3 or above. All right, that is good to go there. Let's continue moving left to right to make sure we don't miss anything from our worksheet. All right, we hit something else. Yes, we want to allow multiple files. Boom. So why this worksheet is so cool. It educates you, and you just make sure that you tick all of the boxes. That would have been very easy to miss. Max file uploads is 12. And image upload size, I say via a code snippet. All right. Even when you hover over the educational piece, I give you the link to that code snippet. So try to cover everything. You can always let me know if you're a club member and you have access to the worksheets and you need clarification on something, like you notice something I'm missing or I could do something better. I am all ears. Let me know. I like to think I've got everything covered, but I don't always. All right, so that should be good. I want to circle back here because I didn't go, oh yeah, allowed file types. Let's see if that is in. That's got to be in here. Allowed file types. There we go. What types of files are listing owners are listing owners able to upload? If nothing is specified here, listing owners can upload any file type MyListing allows. This column applies to the following field. Okay, so we're just rolling with the defaults there. So yeah, you can choose what you want them to upload. AVIF is, these days, is supported with WordPress core. So that is now an option that you could do. The only thing about that is that listing owners aren't going to really know what that is. They're going to be more familiar with PNG or JPEG most likely. maybe WebP, but that's probably a stretch anyway. But another part of that is educating people. So if you can get everybody to just upload AVIF images and that's it, that is the absolute best scenario that you can do if you can pull that off. But they have to follow the instructions of the image upload pop-up. So I'm going to actually, while we're here, let me show you that. So let's pull that over. I'm going to pull over that pop-up. What did I call that? I think it was image. Just bear with me one moment. Let me find this here. Submit form. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, so this is called, as you'll see when I import this, this is called, obviously, everything is available from the club. This is called the Canvas Submit Form Cover and Gallery Images Upload 101 pop-up. So this is an educational pop-up here. All right. So remember, here in our description, we are calling this pop-up. Or we're calling this link. Okay. So to call this link, we need to set up the pop-up to be called from that link. All right. So to do that, let's go ahead. We'll edit this template, this pop-up with Elementor. I will quickly, very quickly set up the design. It'll take me just a second. So medium, so this will be super quick. There we go. So that's exactly how it will look. The other important piece is actually being able to call the pop-up. So we need to set a condition. So down here, there's display conditions. We need to say for the entire website, just like that, and call it a day. Save and close. That allows the pop-up to be called as we are trying to call it. So you click on this little settings cogwheel here for the actual pop-up. You go to advanced, and then you'll see here, open by selector is already set for us. See where that pound sign, so hashtag image upload 101. So that we're saying that is how we call this. So looking back at our listing type, we are calling it right here. Boom. All right, so let's save our changes and let's see how this thing looks. And it doesn't matter. I have this for any of these image related fields because I want people to know the guidelines and the tips. So if they click on this, there we go. We don't have our overlay in there. We can add that really quick just so you can see how this is really going to look should you get this template. And you can set your own overlay, whatever that you desire for that to be. So let's set that. Let's refresh. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so we're saying here, cover and gallery images should be no smaller than 1920 by 1080 pixels for the best clarity, and the subject matter should be as centered as possible to avoid being cut off at the edges. Image size limits. This is the real key here as far as what we're talking about with like the AVIF and all of that. Images can have a maximum file size of 1 meg. That's all easily adjustable. You should you need to compress your images, no problem. Here's a free tool with super simple instructions. Give them this link. It's going to open in a new tab. They follow the instructions. Upload an image. Okay, let's upload our image. Let's do this one. Choose WebP from the dropdown. Okay. What I would probably do is update those instructions to now say AVIF. Okay, which I will do actually now after this video that reminded me to do that. So this should say choose AVIF from the dropdown. Download your optimized image. I mean, it couldn't be easier. So download the image. Maybe I could say, maybe I'll update these instructions that say click the download button or something like that. I'll figure out how to word that. But just like that, they've optimized that image, and it's going to be super, super tiny. And like I said, AVIF is now fully supported in WordPress core, and 99.9, I don't know what the percentage is. It's supported by all of the major browsers now. So, I mean, super, super tiny image file size. Okay, so that's how I go about it. That's how I do it. I'm going to update these instructions after we're done here. But that AVIF, if you can get everybody just doing AVIF, you're going to save yourself tons of space. The performance is going to be better on the front end. It's all going to be better. Okay. All right. So a little side tangent there. And we are done with the bonus gallery. Let's knock out the video URL field. Let's go back to our listing type, fields, video URL. That is a preset field. I'm going to rename this to instructional video. And let's see what else I did here. We have a little bit of instructions as part of the placeholder. Some description. And I believe package visibility is also on this one. No, we just allowed this. And one of the reasons is because, I mean, it takes people off of, you'll see it. It's not really contact information. I guess they could have contact information, they could get to their channel and get their contact information. So up to you. I could see possibly locking this down and making people want to purchase a package for this. Totally up to you there. We definitely don't want to show that in the listing comparison. I don't think there's anything else special we need to do here. All right, so that field is done. Moving on down, we've got the offers form heading. So form heading offers, I know off the top of my head that I use tags. So I use this little price tags looking thing. Let's see what else we did here. We did package visibility. So in order for them to display their offers, they need to purchase at least package 2 or above. You see what I mean? I wish you could say right now, like a rule would be like package 2 or greater. That would be an awesome feature. But as I said before, not the end of the world that we got to punch this stuff in, but it would be nice. Okay, so that is that. Next up is our actual offers, which I'm calling popular offers. This is a fun field. This is the general repeater field. People don't use this enough. So we'll go ahead and just use the preset field up here, general repeater. We're going to change that to say popular offers. Moving left to right, we do put a description in here. Because this involves an image, we put that same option to call that pop-up. We need to put that same package visibility on there. We do not want to have this in the listing comparison. Okay, moving on over. What else do we have here? Item name placeholder. We're just going to call this item name. So our placeholder, instead of just saying label, we want to put item name. We want to enable the price. Currency is dollar symbol. So enable price is already enabled. Currency is dollar symbol. We don't want to enable link. I should probably change that to be like yes or no, so they're forced to change that. We don't want to do the link there in this particular case, so we are going to disable the link. Enable images, yes, we're going to do that. That's by default. Enable description, that's all good. All right, so should be nothing else there. That's not a required field. Yep, that all looks good. Again, image upload size we're doing globally, so we have to keep setting for all these fields. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. All right, last up here is something I love to do, and that is get feedback. So when listing owners are going through the process, find out how did they like the experience. Get that information so you can adjust your add listing form, your submit form to help people better onboard. Okay. All right. Another form heading. We're calling this feedback, and I think I just used the chat icon for this. Yeah. Use whatever icon you want. Obviously, we don't need this in the listing comparison pop-up. And lastly, and I'll get you out of here, is a text area custom field. We are calling this onboarding experience. We do not want to show this in the listing comparison pop-up because it has nothing to do with comparing listings. We have a description. Good or bad, we would love to know what your experience with adding listings to our platform. Know about your experience with adding listings to our platform. All right, let's save our changes. And guys, we have now got all of our fields in place to continue on building out the expert listing type, which we will do in another lesson. So now you can see on the add listing form, this is starting to really take shape and look great. We're breaking these into sections. We've got the profile section, the qualifications section, the service details section, the contact section, the media section, offers, and then feedback there. So everything's starting to take shape. Everything looks great. Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next lesson.